When you say micro, I mean, I know nothing about this. What is a microdose? Like, how does that even look? And how do people take it? Like, what is it?
So a microdose, it's best to take it as a product, not as an actual mushroom. A lot of people
Okay.
try to take the actual mushroom, but it takes a lot of preparation and know-how to make it to prepare it correctly. It's not deadly. If you Google it, it will say it's deadly. That's not true. There are no cases of someone actually dying from taking it unless they've force fed themselves raw mushrooms in the forest. So like if you go and you eat the raw straight out of the ground without any cooking or preparation and you force feed it, you can have serious health complications. But
Okay.
if you cook it, then it's safe. So I like to tell people it's about as safe as chicken. If you don't cook the chicken, yeah, you could get really sick. So as far as a microdose goes, it's just about an equivalent of 1 to 3 grams, and usually you want to take it as a product like a tincture. I make microdose concentrate tinctures as well as chocolates, and I partner with a company that makes tablets that are really easy to take. The tablets are probably the best product because they give you a really deep rest and a relaxation of the mind and body, and it's already preserved in a way that you don't have to do anything. It's shelf stable.
hmm hmm Okay. And all right. So, can anyone, you said it can be shipped across borders, so anyone can order it and have it shipped. I'm in Canada, for example.
Right.
Would someone be able to order from you and have it sent to Canada or any state?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty much you can ship pretty much anywhere.
Okay. Okay. Wow, that's really cool to know. So, I've heard sometimes with other because I know some other practitioners that do microdosing of psychedelics and things, and they say you should never take it like without supervision. Would that be the case with something like this, or?
As a microdose, you're completely fine. Like you're not going to have an issue. You don't need supervision for a microdose. Taking a microdose is not going to harm you. It's going to give you a very easy experience, easy to manage. If you're taking it as a microdose, you'll usually get a little bit drowsy, but you can still operate like a vehicle and drive and you still function. And if you take it in doses over 4 to 5 grams, that's when you start getting into intermediate doses. A high dose is 15 grams or more, and I don't recommend anyone doing that. I've done it plenty of times, and I'll just say that it's not really productive. It doesn't really heal you. It doesn't really benefit you that much. So there's really not a point in doing it. What you really want to do is be taking doses that are like 1 to 3 grams in a low dose, and then using that time for meditative practices to heal yourself.
Okay, so it's not like just take it and forget about it. Do you shift into a different state, like a altered state somehow, and then you use that time?
Yeah, so I mean, it will put your mind into a deeper place, and it
Okay.
will cut off a lot of your repetitive thinking. So a lot of the reactive repetitive thinking that we go through is just stopped by taking a microdose. And so it gives you the opportunity to grow when you take it.
hmm And so then you would use that as meditative time. And is there a particular way or guidance that you would have for that type of meditation?
Yeah, so I actually teach courses on this. I have what's called a microdose coaching course where I teach people what to do, how to heal themselves while on Amanita. And that's done through what I guess you would call spiritual lessons, with the primary lesson being that all healing actually comes through forgiveness. And this
Oh,
is something
so
that,
true.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is something that is in our culture is completely not acknowledged. So if you watch any movie, TV show, whatever you're looking at on the screen, you will never see this occur of someone like being like, "I forgive you," and that being like this beautiful part of the movie of or whatever. Like never really happens. It's always about revengeance or about recovering what
Yeah.
someone took from you or victory over the enemy. There's never this. There's always a battle, right? Forgiveness
hmm
is no battle in forgiveness. So when you come to forgiveness within yourself, you have stopped the war in your mind over whatever happened to you in the past. And so that allows you to have peace, which is better for you. So forgiveness isn't really about, oh, I need to like do this to someone else. Forgiveness is about you doing something for yourself to benefit yourself so that you can have a more
Exactly.
peaceful life, you can have a more loving experience, and you can grow and move on from wherever you're at.
Yeah, and your body can let go of that tension that it's holding from the lack of forgiveness.
It's much more than tension though. It's more than physical tension.
Yeah.
It's a spiritual problem. Like if your mind and energy is focused on something that you can't change, you will feel powerless. And then the
Mhm.
more you do that, the more powerless you become, and eventually you get to the point where you're completely powerless, and then you can't heal.
hmm Yeah, and we're taught a lot of powerlessness in our culture, really, especially when it comes to healing our body. We think we got to go to someone else, right? Okay, what would someone do so they get this so they wouldn't just take it and kind of go to sleep. They would take it and have a guided experience or whatever, something that they might be doing with you to have this deeper spiritual experience as part of it. Is that right?
Yeah. So what we do in the microdose coaching course is people taking on a microdose and they're given activities to perform while they're on the microdose so that they can learn the skills that I'm talking about. Like how do you forgive? Like what does that mean? Like it's a deep process, right? It's not so easy to do. And
Mm.
what does that mean? And how does that affect your life and all that? So there's a lot of aspects to it that have to be covered kind of in depth. And so with the Amanita Microdose coaching course, they take the microdose and then they do the activities. And we meet once a week via Zoom call to give another class. And each person also gets a personal access to me so they can ask questions and have one-on-one coaching sessions.
Mm. Okay, I love that forgiveness is part of that. I think forgiveness is foundational to healing.
I
For
think it's the
me,
only way. I
what's
think there isn't.
that?
I think there is no other way to heal. I think it's the only way to heal.
You're right. Like that's where I came in my own journey too, that it wasn't until I really let go of those things from the past that I was holding on to knowingly, unknowingly, that it really happened for me as well. And I didn't know about microdosing back then. So would you say it's sort of a faster track because it helps you access that ability to forgive more easily?
Well, what I would say is that your mind is going to center around the emotion that you have, and people don't realize this. Like your logic actually doesn't come from logical things. Your logic is trying to resolve whatever emotion you're experiencing. So if you have a certain emotion, that is going to continue vibrating and resonating within your system until you relinquish it and don't have it anymore. And the way that that's going to happen is your emotion is going to you're going to have an emotion, and then what people do is they form a justification system around the emotion, which we usually call referred to as an ego. And so you have a justification system as to why you have this negative emotion, what is anger, fear, whatever, hopeless, and whatever your negative emotion is. And so to let go of the emotion is to heal from it. So how do you let go of the emotion? You have to forgive the things that caused it, right? And so there's always some deeper cause that's like, oh, this emotion came because I was abused or because this person betrayed me or whatever. Right. There's lots of bad things in the world. I understand. But you can't heal unless you forgive. So there's no point in doing something else. You can't move on unless you do that. So we have to forgive to be able to come to a place of peace and truly find what it is that we need to be.
Yeah, that's so true. So can you tell us a little bit more about your own experience, Rael, that you had? Because I know you've got that book your book as a gift to give to the audience, and I know it was a deeply spiritual experience. So do you want to share a little bit of that?
Sure. Yeah. So I have written a book a little bit about my life. It's basically a book about how I got into very high dose psychedelics, and that was my way of trying to understand spirituality. What I did was extremely dangerous, and I don't recommend it to other people. But basically, I tried to discover everything there is to know about life through high dose psychedelics, and it brought me into a place of really deep meditative understanding of my own existence, where everything is much more flexible than we think it is. Before I had done that, I was in a very absolutist kind of thinking where everything seemed very rigid and sort of impossible to change. But when I realized that what we really are is consciousness, we're not a physical body. Like
Yeah.
you're made out of consciousness. What a soul is, right?
Yeah.
That's what's written in the Bible. It says you are made in the image of the Creator. So you're a piece of consciousness, and then all of the consciousness combined, which is everything in existence, that would be God. So when you understand it this way, it gives sort of a practical understanding of spirituality that is much more easy to manage for people, I think.
Hmm.
This is how I came to understand spirituality, and I've evolved a lot since then. I know I've obviously no longer preach high dose psychedelics, but yeah, it's a story of overcoming that was almost impossible to achieve.